Welcome. I'm your host, Dustin. Today, we have a special guest to help review a ScreamBox original coming out November 1st. We have Yutaka from the Horror Hour. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How
Thank
are
you
you?
for taking out the time to come and do this. I'm great, and I know we've been talking a lot on socials back and forth, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
supporting each other for both of our shows. And I figured since my co-host is away for the weekend doing some conventions, I figured, hey, why not I get you on here and come review Box Original with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to, let everybody know what you do, where they can find you, and all that jazz.
Sure. Yeah. I myself also have a podcast with some other fellow individuals called The Horror Hour. You can find us at The Horror Hour TV on all our socials on YouTube. And we're just kind of just a bunch of, well, in a sense, queens who get gutted, rotted, and filthy. And we have a fun time arguing. But occasionally we also do reviews and we do get filmmaker interviews. And that's probably one of my favorites because then you can just see us just shoot the shit about films with the actual creators.
Yeah, and it's super fun, and I do agree. Doing like interviews, I feel like is more of an enjoyment than doing movie reviews. Ever since we started doing, at least on my show, I just get so much more joy out of doing that, being face to face, well, as close to face as we possibly can, and talking to the people who created our favorite movies or movies in general. I don't know, it comes off way more, I don't know, heartwarming, I guess is a way of saying it. And then you can go and talk about their film, like the one that we've been championing for the past about 3 weeks is Terrifier 2, and I know that's one of your favorite movies of the year too. And just everybody that's a part of that film is so nice.
The passion behind that film is just, it's what makes me love it even more. I mean, I already love it in general, but just, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and I guess another thing I can announce before we get into the movie that we are reviewing today, Terrifier 2 will be dropping on ScreamBox on Halloween. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it in the theater, which I don't know why you haven't gone to a theater yet, there's 1,000+ theaters this weekend, their final
Mm-hmm.
weekend, and it's going to be the biggest weekend for them. Go see it in the theater because you need to. It's a theater movie. I mean, you could watch it at home and get a bunch of buddies over, but I mean, having the big screen, the surround sound, watching people faint behind you, I mean, come
Oh
on.
my gosh, that would I know it's terrible to hope that, but if somebody does tonight when I go see it, that would be like chef's kiss.
I do have to say that the first night I went, there was one guy who fainted about 3 seats away from me, with popcorn in his lap, and it was also I think 3 people walked out, but one of them returned about a half hour later. So I was like, okay, well at least one of them tried to come back and
Oh
do
my god, I love
something.
that.
But that's
That's
awesome.
incredible.
It's great publicity, and it's like The Exorcist all over again. That's what everybody keeps saying, and it really is, in modern day, and we're here to actually see it happen, which is absolutely awesome. Um, but today, the movie that we are going to be talking about, and we're going to be going probably the first like 10 or 15 minutes, non spoilers, since this movie is not out yet. So when we go into spoilers, I'll let everybody know, so that way you can either shut it off or you can keep listening, whatever you like to do. But we're going to be talking about a French horror movie called Deep Fear. And I have a little bit of a background on this that the lovely folks over at Screenbox sent me. And a little description is a post graduation celebration turns into a fight for survival in the catacombs of Paris in Deep Fear. The Belgian French horror film streams exclusively on Screenbox November 1st, and will also be available on VOD platforms the same day via Cinedigm. So, if you don't have Screenbox in your area, maybe you can get it through Cinedigm. I know Screenbox, I believe, is still only US based, but after talking
Oh.
to Alex and Brandon, I think they were trying to push it to go into other territories by the end of the year. So you got that looking forward to. Greenbox is great, and I mean, we have Shutter. Obviously, we both love Shutter. Um, one thing I keep saying is, yeah, there may be two different horror exclusive streaming platforms, but competition is a good thing.
Absolutely.
And for anybody who says no, I don't know why you would say that, because there have been some people who have DM'd me saying that Shudder is number one. I'm not going to Screenbox no matter what. And I just don't understand that mindset. I think that's one thing that we need to start turning around, is realizing that more than one of something is good. Because, I mean, when you're not getting on that platform, you get on the other platform. Like if you like Terrifier, the first one's on Screenbox, and you're going to be getting the second one on Halloween. So, I mean, what else could you ask for?
I
Come
can't
on.
wait for that double feature. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I wish I could invite the whole crew over to my house and we could have a double feature viewing. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes,
I'll invite
absolutely.
you guys over too. We'll just get everybody in the house. A gigantic Terrifier 2
Oh my
gathering.
god. But yeah,
Uh,
no, Screambox has so many great so many great originals, but also I agree. I love diversity because maybe not all again, not all films can go to a certain streamer, or maybe not all stream or not a streamer can't take all of, you know,
yeah,
those films. Just, I don't know.
yeah, I agree. Like having competition and diversity in any kind of platform, I think is great. But us horror fans are eating good this year. I can tell you that much. You're,
Absolutely.
it's like Thanksgiving every day, literally. And there's some other Screenbox stuff that's gonna be coming up next week on our show. I don't want to say anything yet, but it's gonna be wacky. All I'll say is if you like, we're all going to the World's Fair, you're gonna like this one. So that's all I'm gonna say. Psychedelic version of that.
I know
I'll
which
say
film you're talking about.
that.
That was okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So look out for everything Screenbox on this channel, because I feel like that's what we're turning into, is a Screenbox exclusive podcast. But you know what? I'll take it because I love everything they're dishing out. But I guess without further ado, we can start jumping into Deep Fear. Taka, I will let you kind of start off and give your general, I guess, feelings of this film, without going into any spoilers or anything like that. So right off the bat, what did you think?
I had a good time, honestly. I think French horror goes hard sometimes, so I really, really actually enjoy that. I enjoyed the characters. I felt that there was good chemistry. I did like some of the scares, and there were a couple scenes that I felt were very tense to where it gave me anxiety, and so I really, really appreciate that. So yeah, it was just a blast.
Yeah, I agree on that too. And I mean the set designs, like holy shit.
I want to know. I would love to see the behind the scenes on some of those set pieces. Absolutely, because I was just like, where did they film this?
Yeah. I wonder if they actually did film it in real catacombs. I wouldn't be surprised. I was gonna see if any of the filmmakers wanted to come on, but none of them really speak any English. Really, really tough. But I'm gonna talk to the Screenbox folks, and I'll get some more information on that. Because I feel like they must have got something real. I mean, yeah, you can build sets everywhere, but this feels like a fairly low budget film. I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
information like that on here as of yet. This movie's not out yet. I'm sure once it officially comes out, we'll get some more, budget and whatnot about this film. But yeah, it's very claustrophobic. If you like the Descent or As Above, So Below, this
There
is
we go. Yep.
a movie for you, and it's a French Belgian movie. It goes pretty hard on the topics that it's talking about. It's stuff that I don't think you'd really see in the U.S. Right now. I feel like probably could with all the stuff that's going on. But yeah, it's a great film. It's very claustrophobic. Great lighting, great acting. The sound design is very, very good. Tense moments. It's very, very, very well done in my opinion. There's not too much plot getting in the way of the story, which some people are always like, oh, there's too much story to this. I'm like, it's pretty cut and dry, but it's very, very
Yeah.
tense, extremely tense. I mean, just if you look at the cover of this film, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and even like the font is, because we kind of had like a dry area with French films. I think after like the early 2000s, we haven't really seen much French horror coming out. So it's good to see that there's some more coming out, and ScreamBox is getting it. So you guys want to check this movie out? It's going to be on ScreamBox November 1st. And also, another thing that ScreamBox does that I love is they do a 30-day free trial. Can't think of any other service that does that. I really, really. Shudder, I think, is only what, 7 days, 7 or 10 days. I think it used to be 10, but they brought it down to 7. I think. But you can, get ScreamBox, or you can get ScreamBox to iOS, Android, Prime Video, YouTube TV, a Cast, and also on ScreamBox.com, which they just redesigned, which looks amazing. They're doing it right over there, in my opinion, for a streaming service that has been around a lot longer than you think. But they're really pushing hard, especially Cinedime. They're doing great, and you can thank Brandon Hill on all the socials for grabbing these movies, because he's doing all the acquisitions and he's fucking killing it. He's doing it right. So yeah, this is a movie that will get to you if you are claustrophobic, 100%. But I think after that, giving our quick little thoughts and kind of go through a little bit of the movie. Is there a scene that you would like to particularly talk about that maybe, I don't know, affected you the most, or you thought it was just shot really good?
Honestly, it was when the group first is starting to go in the catacombs, and I really, I mean, I liked how like you could feel just it gave me the Descent vibes. So I really
Yeah.
did appreciate to where, and I would also like to know how they shot that, because that's what, like, my chest tightened up. I was like, oh my god, because here I am watching the screener, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, like I'll be laying down and I got the laptop right here, right in front of my face. So all I see is this, and like my chest is like, oh my god, no, that was so good.
Yeah, yeah. The whole tension leading up. One thing I think this film does really well is that it kind of misleads you in a way. You don't think you're going to be going as hard as it does, because it starts off pretty lighthearted with the group. They're there
Mm-hmm.
with at a post graduation party at like a restaurant. They're all drinking, getting drugs, meeting up with Rami or Rami, and
Mm-hmm.
they go home, and then it starts getting a little weird. This is slight spoilers. We won't go into like too much until probably a couple minutes, but this is like the first like 15 minutes of the film, so it's not really too much. They go home, and then Sonya, who's like the main girl, the final girl of this film, it has like I couldn't tell if it was a bad trip or if it was just a really bad nightmare, but she kind of um gets a premonition of what's gonna happen. Um, and it's very, very tense, and the lighting is really, really cool. And she's all like fucked up, and her friends are like all fucked up, and then you meet the characters that she sees. They're skinheads, so you know what you're getting into. Like you see them at the bar, I think about 2 to 3
Mm-hmm.
minutes in, but very, very quickly, and then they start showing up more and more and more. So from that, you kind of know where this movie's gonna be going. And then you start seeing their tattoos, and they got like swastikas on and everything, so you know what's happening. But it's very, very tense and very, very enjoyable. So I think we're just starting out with those things. I guess we can touch on a little bit of spoilers, or if there was anything else that you want to touch on before that, like anything to do with atmosphere. I'll let you kind of take it away.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. One of my favorite things though is there were several psych outs though with it throughout the course of the film that I really liked, because
Yeah.
it kind of I like I'll kind of reference Barbarian in the sense that we didn't know what we were getting as we were going into it. And so I really appreciated how Deep Fear also did that in certain scenarios, that I don't want to give away because I loved that
Yeah,
surprise. I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. Like, okay, all right.
yeah,
And so I really liked that, but also I have to commend again the acting of the characters of Sonia, Henri, and Max, because and Rami, I really liked their chemistry. It just really worked. And so because you're so focused on them for a good portion of it, it just made the movie more enjoyable.
yeah.
Um, Even though, I like seeing them go through hell, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of really good bonding in this. There was one scene that I want to talk about that I thought was done really, really well. And it's right as they get into the catacombs, like the first section, because it's like 3 sections that they go to, and their main objective is to go to this one place. I think it's the White Zone, is where
Oh,
where
yes.
they're trying to go to. And I mean, just that name alone, I mean, there's a lot of symbolism and just social commentary in this film that might go over your head at first, but once you really sink into it and see the ending of this film, you understand.
When that
Um,
hit, man,
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's smart.
yeah. So when they're trying to get to this one place that they haven't gone to yet, and they're what the hell are their names? They're cataphiles, or I
Oh,
think
yes.
yeah, which is also really funny. So they branded themselves as cataphiles. I mean, there's a lot of things in this that's just like what, but like they actually call themselves that in real life if there's like people that go into catacombs,
I
or
meant
if
to
it's
look
or
that
is it
up.
just because of this film because of what it's dealing with, and they go through a bunch of other like file types things. Max starts naming off a bunch of other ones, so you're just like, what the fuck? Okay, I see what's going on. So yeah, so you got that going on. But like back to what I was saying, when they first go into the first zone and it's all smoked out, and like that got me because I was like, okay, they're already in a really really tight area. They're in the catacombs, and now they can't see shit. These people have never been here before, and then they run into this group of people, and they're being like interrogated and asked a bunch of questions, and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, how is this gonna turn out? Are they gonna get shot? What's gonna happen? Are they gonna run away and go into like other areas of the thing, and they all get lost? That's what I thought was gonna happen. They were
Hmm.
gonna run into different areas, and they had to find each other throughout the film. But it's kind of a psych out, and this is one of the ones that you were kind of talking about. I think this must be
Oh,
one.
yeah. No, I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
because
So they know get psyched out, and it turns out it's the friends of Rami or Rami, who also are cataphiles, and they all kind of work together, and all these other characters, and it's really fun. They have like a little party. They kind of have like a pre-game session before they start going on, and then the group and Rami. So there's 4 like main people. You got Sonya, Max, Henry, and Rami, who all go on this together. And I think it all started because Sonya wanted to have a big adventure for one of her friends before they went to the military, which is Henry. So they go in here. I don't even think she really knew what was going to happen. I think it was kind of like, oh, I thought we were just going to go have a party or something, even though they are just below. So they're they're having fun and drinking and whatnot, and doing drugs that they find along the way. So they just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And honestly, I think I would have stopped at level 1 and turned around because I'm not very claustrophobic, but with the areas that they go into, I I would 100% be claustrophobic. I don't know if you felt the same way. You're just like, yo, I'm out.
I'm a big motherfucker. I'm not going to go through that. Pardon my language, but I saw that and I go, absolutely not. I'd turn right around. I'm not going to fit. No.
Yeah, you have to make it bigger. I mean, for me too. I'm also really, really tall. So going through that, and it's funny because Max, who you can tell that he's afraid, he doesn't want to be. He's making jokes and he brings like a camera along, and he can, turn on night vision and he films things. He's like, oh, this is really, really cool. So that's kind of a cool aspect. They put in like almost like a found footage thing with him, like, showing around, and later on in the film, they have a flashback of recording Henry talking and having fun. But there's a lot of foreshadowing also in this film right from the get-go. Like the first like 5 minutes is a lot of foreshadowing, and it's all paid off very, very well. You see if a character's looking at something, they're gonna end up using whatever item that is that they're looking at. If the camera's
Hmm.
focused on something, a character is gonna end up using that. So everything is fulfilled. You're just not prepared for what they're walking into. I didn't know what this film was going to end like. I thought it was literally they're just going to be trapped down there and like it's going to collapse and they're going to be stuck at this one little area. But no, I'm not going to spoil what it is because I want everybody to experience it their own self, and also turn off all the lights. If you can like get a really like if you have a weighted blanket, this would probably be the best thing to do. Get a weighted blanket, lay down, turn off all the lights, get a nice surround sound, and then you will feel like you are being suffocated.
Mm-mm. That's mean, but yes, do that.
Yes, yes, yes. I think I'm actually gonna go buy one, and do it when it finally drops, so I can have that experience. But there's a lot of really, really sets and a lot of cool dialogue that happens in this. Um, I just, I don't really have anything bad to say about this film. I mean, there's always something you can nitpick, but I've only seen it twice, and it's for me having to rewatch it and research it. And I'm not really trying to pick out anything bad. I'm just trying to get the overall feeling of the film. So I think once I watch it a couple more times, I might find a flaw in it, but I can't find anything that I'm like, yeah, they could have done that better, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
I will say because I really did love the set pieces, I guess I wanted to see more. And I think that's just because of what they already have. So that's just
Yeah.
me being greedy, really, because this, like you said, when you see those set pieces, that I do want to see the behind the scenes footage, all of that, because it's just really cool. Also, I really enjoyed like you said, the sound editing and the soundtrack. And also because I'm an old man, but when there is very beginning, when I saw the Walkman, I was like, that's so cool. That
Yeah, I
brings
like
it
that
back.
too. Um, and that the whole opening scene, you're like, what the fuck is happening here? Is it a supernatural film? Is it a creature feature? They really, get you thinking right off the bat. And you kind of think it's like a horror comedy because they got the music. He's like over there doing pee, and then it kind of just goes a little cheesy for a second. And I do like that. There's some very cheesy moments in here. Especially there's a CGI element in it that's pretty cheesy, but it's very effective in my opinion. Yeah, it's a beautiful film. And I want more. Can we have more catacomb movies? Like and throughout the world, not just in like France. We'll make catacombs in places that aren't catacombs. What's
Well,
what?
you could go and enjoy that. I'm not going to go down there.
oh,
Absolutely not.
oh, come on. What if I paid you $1 million? Come on.
What happens if I get stuck? That million's not going to do me any good.
I'll have people upstairs and they can throw grenades down there and just
That sounds worse.
man, but yeah, one of the like tense moments. This is towards the end of the film, and they talk about it kind of throughout. That really, really got me, and that's what I was thinking of the whole time. Is they kind of tell you like, okay, when you start going down, you're below this, or you're below that, or you're below this, and at the very, very bottom level, you're below the metro, which is trains, and they have to go through this. But every time they would go through a wall or a hole, I was like, it's gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse. And once they start going through it at the towards the end of the film, and it starts shaking, you're like, this isn't good. You're like, you knew this was gonna happen in the back of your mind. This was gonna happen, but it doesn't. It almost does. And then something else happens later on that I didn't really want to spoil too much because somebody gets really messed up in this film at the very end. And this movie also really does take its time with characters getting hurt in any sort of way. They're pretty safe, which is it's good. I mean, you should be safe if you're doing any kind of cataphile stuff. you know, if you're gonna be going and doing dangerous stunts, like if you're gonna be doing anything like in the Descent, or I mean, I guess As Above, So Below, they kind of do the same thing. They go in the catacombs and they start seeing shit, which is completely different. This movie, they don't really see anything that's not real. Everything that is there is
That's
real,
true.
and
Yep.
one of the groups that keep showing up is the skinheads. I think they run into them about 4 times in this, and each time it's more dangerous than the last, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty tense every single time they show up. Like the first time when they're in the catacombs and they get cornered, and all you hear is the bat dragging. I was like, this no, I had to stop it for like 3 minutes, let myself breathe, and be like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Because it's very very tight. That whole like scene, they're in this like box, and they have to deal with this threat, and they don't know how to deal with it. But they end up getting out of it, and I think it was done in a pretty good way. And then more things start happening, and it's just a roller coaster. If you had to have a definition of a roller coaster in film, this would definitely be it, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, I do want to comment on what I really liked when you said like this film does have the cheesy moments, and I also appreciated that because some of, like you said, the topics and kind of just the social commentary is a bit heavy. So
Yeah,
I liked that to help kind of break up those moments because that first or that encounter that you're talking about, it made me chuckle at the end.
yeah,
Um, because I just love the shyness of that part. He's like, could you turn around? I lost it. I was like, that's pretty funny.
yeah. It's really really good. There's a lot of good moments like that, and also just a group of the friends that are there. They know how to kind of like relax the situation without really knowing that they're relaxing the situation. So they have like
Mm-hmm.
some sort of awareness there, and they're all there to protect somebody. And you see one particular person really starting to come out of their shell, really, to defend their flock, essentially. Um, and it's sad when you start seeing characters that you kind of barely got to know kind of meet demise. It's sad, but I mean, it happens in films like this. You're in catacombs. What do you expect? Shit's gonna go down. I mean, what you find at the end of the tunnel, literally, you're definitely not ready for. I can tell you that much.
Mm-mm.
And I'm very excited to see people's reactions to this film just because of the last like 15 minutes of this film. Uh, Everything leading up to it, it's great. It's a great ride. It's written really well, and we keep saying the set designs are great. The lighting is fantastic. The sound design is great. You hear everything, and you
You
feel like
do.
you're there. Especially when they start doing the 360 like views when they keep turning around. I was like, that is brilliant.
Yes.
And they do it twice, and it's brilliant every time they do it. They do it at the beginning of the film and towards the end, and it really sets you up for what you're about to get into. Really get that full view. Like, why don't more films do that?
I loved some of the shots to where you get to see the whole scope of where they're at and just feel like there's nothing worse than feeling you have all this space when really you are technically just trapped where you're at.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can
Mm-mm.
imagine the oxygen levels down there must have been super hard to breathe. Like, if this was for real and they were going down that deep, they should have brought some like oxygen tanks. Like, that's one thing that they probably should have done to prepare for going down the deepest they've ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with what's down there. I don't know how that survived for so long with probably
Oh,
the
yeah.
minimal amount of oxygen that was there. Um, it's great, but like also it has like the descent stuff with the makeup and everything. Particular thing at the end, knowing that total darkness, kind of fucks with you, and for how
Mm-hmm.
long this said thing was there for, it's nuts. Um, I think that's pretty much all the things I really wanted to touch on. This is going to be a short review since the movie's not out yet, so I don't want to, tackle too much. But if there was anything else that you wanted to pinpoint, let's talk about it.
I just had a really fun time with it, and so I just appreciate again having me here and letting me be able to see it. I mean, I have ScreamBox, but I'm always happy to see something early. I'm not gonna lie.
Hell yeah. And I mean, with the other thing that's going to be coming out, I'm so excited. The one thing that I am really, really excited for is the Outer Waters, or the Outwaters. I keep saying that. The Outwaters, I heard, is supposed to be pretty crazy.
That is a trip. I saw that part of, I want to say, the Unnamed Footage Festival. It's a found footage festival that they, I think, do in San Francisco. But they're pretty cool, and they do a lot of it virtually as well. And
Oh,
that's where I
hell yeah.
saw that. And yeah, the sound design on that is, but it is also a fucked up story.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what it's about. That's how it's so good though.
Yeah, I can't wait. And they keep saying it's supposed to be the scariest movie of the year, and I am so excited for that.
That's
So
bold, but
yeah, we'll see. But there's a lot of really, really cool stuff coming to Screenbox and also on Shutter and whatnot. So please give these platforms a chance. Like Screenbox, you don't really have to pay for it if you don't want to. You have that 30-day trial. But within those 30 days, you're gonna get multiple drops of exclusive content for sure.
mm-hmm.
It's almost like every single week they're dropping at least one or two titles. I mean, they have a lot of stuff on there that is crossed with Shutter. I mean, that's bound to happen with any streaming service. But I mean, they have a lot of really cool stuff. They have Fire, like I said earlier. Let me pull up my cheat sheet because I have a bunch of stuff listed here that I can say. So thank you, Screenbox, for doing that. So, yeah, they have the Pennywise, the story of It documentary, which is really, really good. So if you love It and Pennywise, you're gonna love that. They have the whole Masters of Horror um show on there, which used to be on Netflix years and years and years ago, but now they have it on there because I think I had to buy it outright. I think on my Xbox I bought it for like $15 or something, but now it's on
Is this like
Screenbox.
the original Masters of Horror that was like back when it was on Showtime? Like,
Yes, yep, the Mick
oh
Garris one.
damn, yes,
Yep, that's on there
badass
with all
show.
of them. They're all there because I
That's already
think
worth it.
there was a I think there was one or two episodes that they had to kind of take off the air because of how crazy it was. I forget which ones it was because there was so many directors, but it's all there. Everything is
Look
there.
into that.
Then you got the 13 Nights of Elvira. So if you like Elvira, you have her movies over there that she did. Another Screenbox original that we had the cast and crew on and reviewed was Pussy Cake, which I think is a batshit awesome movie that you need to check out. If you like gore, you're gonna love that one. And it's Argentina too, so that's really, really cool. Then we have the slasher mockumentary When the Screaming Starts. Also had some of those guys on and reviewed that one, which was really, really cool. Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon, which is on Screenbox. So if
I've
anybody,
never seen that.
oh, it's
I'm gonna
actually
check
good.
that out.
It's
That's
really good,
awesome.
actually. I think you might like it. And then obviously we got Terrifier 2 coming on Halloween. Awesome. That's going to bring a lot of people over to the platform, and I'm excited. I want to see more people talk about Screambox. I love Shudder. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
You say that as I wrote like Shutter right there, but
yeah. Everybody talks about Shudder. We need to start giving some more light to other streaming services, and then what they're doing over at Screambox, I think, is brilliant. And this is one thing that I say to everybody after talking to Alex and Brandon, work with Screambox. They want everybody to see these films. So if you are out and you aren't in the U.S. or in a territory where you can get Screambox, if you message one of them directly, they will be more than happy to help you watch one of these films, especially if it's an exclusive and you can't get it
that's pretty
somewhere
nice.
else. So they're very pro consumer, pro watcher, pro fan. They don't want to lock anything to a specific thing because they want people to watch these, you know. And it's a platform that's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we are super happy to be here and supporting them as much as we can over at the Baron's Hideout podcast. And same with the Horror Hour. I'm gonna help you guys get as much as you want for Screenbox. as I
I
can.
won't say no because I look, independent horror has been just phenomenal this
Oh
year.
yeah.
So to see, like, honestly, let's kind of talk. Can we talk a little bit about Terrifier 2?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Like,
It's going to be coming to
I,
the platform. Let's do it, man.
let's, one of my favorite things about this film is also just to see how fans have championed it,
Yeah.
but also how Screenbox and a Dime have really also propped it up. When it came out in the theater, the number of theaters that it did, and it did so well, they're like, oh damn, we think we got something.
$1.22 million, man.
And so they're
And
like, well,
limited.
let's push this out even further, and then it does even better. And they're like, oh my, it's just really like I sound like I have not been this excited about an independent property like that, and just to see it championed by Screenbox and the folks over at Cinedime as well. I love that, and to see you guys just show it so much love, because yes, I'm a gore horror. Give me all the gore you want. But one of my favorite things about it is also, which is I will also say about Deep Fear, the set design
Oh yeah.
is the set pieces. It's just so cool. And I expect, which I'm really hoping to see it crack the top 5, but even if it doesn't, the fact that it's still where it's at
Yeah.
is just mind-blowing, because nobody saw that. And on top of that, uncut,
Yeah.
like,
That doesn't
who,
happen. And I've told
no.
people that. I'm like, I know you're going to think I sound crazy, but a film like this being in the theaters is like a 1 in a gazillion chance. Like, you need to see this film. Even if you don't like
Absolutely.
horror, even if you just buy a fucking ticket and go there for 5 or 10 minutes, you're supporting something. You're making it so more independent films can do this. Go out
Mm-hmm.
there and thrive, and we can put a middle finger to the bigwigs and just be like, you know what? Yeah, you do make horror movies, and some of them are really good, but you know, indie is just where it's at right now. The freedom of being able to pretty much do what you want, and Damien, Terrifier 2, he doing what he wants, and nobody's saying no. Everybody's like, "Yep, okay, we'll do it." Deep Fear, you can kind of get the same thing. They're doing what they want without, you know, having somebody say no, especially for the topics at hand. You would think, we probably shouldn't do that, but they are.
I would compare Deep Fear to another film, but I do my best not to bash another film. So we'll chat maybe offline, but this could be
Sure.
compared to another one that is does not handle that topic as well as I feel Deep Fear does.
All right, all right.
Yeah, but no, Deep Fear is great. I had a blast, but again, Screambox just championing all this independent horror, and again, Shudder's doing the same. I can't the big streaming platforms, somewhat maybe,
Mm,
but it's very nice to see. Like, there's just something, like, I'm so excited to go and see hopefully a Terrifier 2 poster at my theater before I go sit down and watch Terrifier. And I just think that's great. And I can't wait to see you talk about the next film that Screenbox is getting, because that film's wild.
yeah, I am excited. I'm watching it tonight. Oh, I'm
I
very,
can't
very
wait to.
excited.
We will have to DM after that, because I want to know your thoughts on that one.
Oh hell yeah, for sure, for sure. And I can't wait for Dean to watch that either. He watched Deep Fear and he really liked it, but unfortunately he just couldn't be here because he's out doing conventions selling his products in the UK. So he's out there making a buck and doing the best he can. And he'll be over here in the US next year doing some conventions and whatnot, and I'll be there with him side by side. We're best buds, so anything we can do to support each other, and anything that I can do to help you guys over at the Horror Hour, please. DMs are always open, and that goes out for anybody listening to the show. If you want to figure out or find a way to watch these films and you can't do it, please send me a message and I will point you in the right direction. Deep Fear, very very fun. I guess we can vote on this, or put a rating to it if you want, out of
Ooh,
10.
okay.
So since you are the guest today, what would you want to rate this out of 10?
Ooh. I would give this. I'd give it. Ooh, okay, I'd go with an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it like an 8.5 just because I think with the topics that it's dealing with and how smooth everything went over with the jokes on it that may go over your head, but once you really think about it, you're like, oh, I see what they're doing. Okay, and then just the set designs and the sound design and just seeing French horror come back in any kind of way like this. And yeah, it could have been more intense, but it didn't need to be. I think just the set designs alone and making you feel like you're there has more of an impact than you seeing somebody get like blown up or whatever, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. And ScreamBox, once again, thank you guys so much for letting us do this and helping champion your platform and get more people on there. And let's start talking more horror. You know, that's what we got to do, all around, and support independent films as much as possible. So I guess closing out, if you want to let everybody know again what you do, where they can find you, and what you're going to be putting out next, if you can.
Sure, yeah. This is where my co-hosts are better than I am at this because I'm terrible about promoting. But we handles are at the Horror Hour TV. You can find us on YouTube. Oh, see, already Instagram, Twitter. Uh, yeah, and
all
most
the
of that,
platforms.
all the audio platforms. And what we do have coming up is we have a couple things. We'll be sitting down with Joseph and Vanessa Winter to talk about their VHS 99 segment to Hell and
Oh yeah.
Back. And we'll hopefully be sitting down with Tyler McIntyre about his segment, Gawkers and Tragedy Girls. And we've got a few other interviews that we can't say just yet. But yeah, and I think it's funny that we're talking about this film, but our next episode is actually going to be on foreign horror.
That's awesome. Now you got to add this one to the list.
They haven't seen it, so I can't. But it would be one. But I chose some really like not rotted. I chose some really messed up ones.
That's the
Ones that are,
best.
like like some maybe hidden Japanese horror films that maybe some
Oh
folks
yes,
haven't seen. And
yes.
yeah, maybe a French film, another one, because they have some good horror films
Yeah, they
out
go
there.
pretty hard, and I'm excited for those. And you know what? Congrats on those interviews,
Thank you.
championing
Same to
these
you.
films, and getting everybody else to have more of a voice. I think this is the year of horror. I said it earlier this year. This year is definitely like a horror renaissance. That's what we're in right now. Is a huge horror renaissance, and I think it really all started with Revealer. Not gonna lie, I think Revealer really kicked it off, and then everybody was I got
Do
all
you
my
have your
posters and stuff over there.
yes?
So I gotta get them on my wall, and I got a couple of comics too. But yeah, that movie really started pushing, I think, indie horror a lot, and it was just what came out. When was it? June, July? It was pretty early this year, and just seeing all these other independent horror films come out, with them also dealing with pretty heavy topics and seeing where it's going, and year another one doing some pretty heavy topics and whatnot. It's great. I love being a horror fan. I love horror. I don't know where I would be in my life without horror, to be honest. Yeah, this is
Same.
this is great, and I love doing this and just talking about stuff and having people like you on and us talking nonsense, because I feel like most of the time I ramble and I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but it comes out okay. So you know,
Oh, that's all that matters, is that you're
exactly.
passionate about horror. That's what's great, and I have to second that, because I know we always say like, oh, this year's the best. No, this year really saw so many either big releases, but also so many independent releases just really soar. And that's so, oh my God. Like, again, nobody saw Barbarian like do what it was going to do.
Yeah,
And same thing, Revealer. Uh, don't even get me started on that soundtrack. I'm waiting for all of it.
yeah,
Like, put that on vinyl. Like, yeah, no, there's so much good shit out there.
yeah. I guess there is one thing that I want to talk about relating to Revealer. That
Ooh.
I'm currently trying to put together. For a horror fest. It may not be like officially linked to it, but it's what I'm trying to do. Over, because I live in Massachusetts and I'm very, very close to Salem, and I love going to Salem Horror Fest.
I'm so
Um,
jealous. I
Kay
want to meet
Lynch.
Kay. Yeah, oh, she's
Kay is the goddess we all need. She's amazing, and what she does over there is great. Friend of the show, been on twice, and I can't say too much about what we may or may not be doing with the fest, but one thing that I'm trying to do is I might be bringing out Luke, Kato, Dana, Tim, and Michael to Salem Horror Fest, do some secret signings and stuff. I am in the DMs with Luke currently talking about this, and I'm waiting for Kay to get back to me to see if this would be something that she would like to do. So anybody who is fans of Revealer, I don't want this to be like 100% set in stone thing because it's still in the works, but it's something that I'm championing right now because Revealer means a lot to me. It really showed me how much indie horror can impact somebody or something or a society. So yeah, I'm just doing that for the love of the game. So if you guys are close to Mass or want to take a trip in April to Salem Horror Fest, please do. Not just for that, but for everything else that's going to be happening throughout the fest. So you can buy your badges right now, and I will put the link below. But yep, that's just a little bit of something that I'm currently working on. So yeah.
we are gonna have to talk about that because I was already planning on coming to Salem Horror Fest in general.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll talk more about it because that's awesome. But
Yeah.
I love Kay. Oh my god. And everything that she's doing right now with oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I lived out there so I could see some of the screenings that you all have got to see. And also I loved how she mentioned Terrifier 2 is like a Looney Tunes slasher. I was
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I was like, love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really, really cool. She's a boss. So if you don't know who we're talking about, please go over to all the socials and just look up Salem Horror Fest, or you can go to Twitter and just look up Kay Lynch and find everything about her and the fest, or just go on SalemHorrorFest.com. You'll find all the links below. So thank you, Yutaka, for coming on and talking about this awesome original from ScreamBox. We kind of went over everything very lightly. I hope we didn't spoil too much for anybody. I think we left a lot of things kind of to be seen and discovered by our listeners and viewers. So yeah, this was a blast, and I would love to get you on again, and then I would love to
No,
come
thank
on your
you.
show, man. It was
Oh
great.
yeah, no, I need you to maybe school George in some things.
Yeah, for sure. So this was a blast, and thank you for everybody who's listening and supporting us and supporting the Horror Hour and everything that they do. Let's just keep horror alive, everybody, and support each other. Don't be dicks. Just
Yes.
go out there and support them, regardless of what their views are on certain things, or especially on horror. Please just go and support them in any way possible, because the more voices we have on movies or topics or anything like that, it's very, very important all around. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everybody listening and watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.